Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Iconic Messengers, the show that will become the voice for the voiceless. Today we have none other than the king closer, R.J. Bates III, on the debut episode. So ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't bring your helmet or you didn't bring protection, get ready to get kicked in the nuts and a shin to the chin, because R.J. Bates shows no mercy. And this is not a place for the crybabies. This is not a place for the people that don't want to do the work. This is for the people that are willing to go to battle every single day to do what needs to be done to become an icon in your category. So, ladies and gentlemen, R.J. Bates, welcome to the show.
Bro, I just have to let you know that when you say R.J. Bates III in your voice, it turns me on.
I tell you what, there's a lot of beautiful things out there happening in the world, and that's one of them. So let's kick right into it. And we were talking about this, and we've been talking about this for years. The changing of the guard in the business space, because business has kind of become, there's like an arm of entertainment to it now. And that's how I met everyone that I know in business, was coming into conferences as an entertainer and getting crowds riled up and people all pumped up. And then that turned into me becoming an MC. And then that turned into me helping people pitch their masterminds and their trainings and their workshops and their events. And I think that over time, we've noticed that there's a lot of guys that are doing really great business that can teach it really well, but the audience is getting younger and younger and younger at conferences, and they have less and less and less money. Yeah. And so people are forced to launch their own micro communities of serious people that want to be the best in a specific category. And that's where I think people like you are just going to be taking over in the next 2 or 3 years. So explain this king closer formula and how it came about.
Yeah, you know, it's funny you bring this up, man, because the world of being a great entrepreneur is no longer good enough. Yeah, you have to have some sort of shtick, right? You have to be entertaining. You have to capture a 21-year-old's attention for long enough to get them to stick around for longer than 15 seconds, right? How do you do that? Previously, it was YouTube videos. You know, you could make an hour-long video and they would watch that hour. Now it's, can we get this point across in 33 seconds in a reel? It is difficult, but it's a lot of fun too. And that's why I love working with you and on our social media. But where did the king closer come from? What came from the Closers Olympics, man. 2020, you know, I went out there, I got 2 verbal agreements and a closing competition in 30 minutes with live sellers that I'd never spoken with before, and kind of got shafted on the judging by our buddy Carlos, and it blew up, man. I mean, it absolutely blew up, where I literally started making shirts calling myself the People's Champ, Bates 316, and it kind of took a world of its own, where it was like everyone was like, dude, you should have won the Closers Olympics. And honestly, the best thing that ever happened to me was losing the first 2020 Closers Olympics. That eventually transitioned to me winning 2021, back-to-back 2023. That's where the belts came from. Won 2022, Wholesaling Live Challenge. And at this point, it's kind of undisputed, like, hey, man, don't compete against me in a closers competition. I'm going to beat you. And that's where the whole King Closers title came from.
And so now we're at a place in 2024 where everybody's looking for the expert. Everybody's looking for the shortcut that the expert can provide. And, you know, we've seen so many people, you know, especially in real estate, that turned out to be frauds, that turned out to not be who they said they were. A lot of people, there's like all these fraud of raising money and this and that. Even Jonathan Frost, my own friend and accountant, raised millions and millions of dollars of investors' money and then disappeared with it. So, you know, I don't know what's going to happen to him, but, you know, the facts are the facts. No one knows where the money went. And these are people that have been around at conferences and doing business with people and accounting for dollars. And what we're realizing is that if we don't hold ourselves accountable, we're not going to be able to be successful. And so a lot of us have the opportunity now to kind of drive as fast as we can on this clear highway of the old heads. We're the old guys now. When I first came in the game, I had long curly hair. Now I barely have any hair left. And so it's part of the game. This is all part of life. But I think it's our job and our duty to do things that take a little bit of extra time and take a little bit of extra energy to give people some real shit that they can implement to get results today. So you in the real estate space, me in the media space, I know that talking to people and creating conversations is the only way that I've ever closed deals. Would you agree that those are smart things to do?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, I don't understand this whole fear of talking to people when it comes to business. You know, this is one of the biggest hurdles that I have to overcome with teaching people how to close sellers is like, hey, I'm afraid to get on the phone. I'm afraid, what if I don't know what to say? What if I don't have the answer? You tell them you don't have the answer, but you'll go figure it out. Like, what do you do on a normal day-to-day human-to-human interaction? You just have a conversation. You speak the truth. But, Pat, that's the problem. For so long, people haven't been speaking the truth. Going back to what you were talking about there, man, anyone could teach real estate over the past decade, really, because it was so easy. The market was on such an upswing from what happened back in 2008, 2009. Listen, I'm a beneficiary of this. I got started in 2014. So, yeah, over this past decade, it's been a crazy ride, but what we saw a year ago in late 2022 was the first time that something happened in the market where, oh no, hey, everything doesn't work. Interest rates went through the roof. All of the buyers stopped buying wholesale deals, and all of us real estate investors and wholesalers were stuck going, holy cow, this is the first time we've had something change in the market. And what you saw is a massive amount of wholesalers, flippers, landlords, realtors get out of the business. And from that, we saw these quote unquote gurus, these people that were teaching they weren't practicing what they were teaching. They were just saying, hey, here, go pull a list, talk to these sellers, and you'll close deals and you can sell it to a hedge fund. That doesn't work anymore. And so, yes, it is a changing climate, but it all goes back to your ability to talk to another human and solve a problem that they have. If you can do that, you can be successful in any business.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think people are just so gun shy when it comes to getting on the phone, even getting on camera. And I think that those two things have combined now. You not only have to be good at business, you have to be good at teaching and explaining to the audience why this business is something that they need to A, understand how to do for themselves, or B, know how to use as a tool to potentially move into in the future. Like, there's always going to be billionaires that never posted a video. I don't think that Warren Buffett is necessarily trying to become an influencer next week with my company. But the moral of the story is I'm not Warren Buffett. I'm clearly not as savvy as he was at my age either. Okay, most people aren't. But what most people can do is pick up the phone or create a video or create a brand or all of these different things that are available to us now with AI. And like you got the skip tracing and the find a neighborhood and comp the property. You can do all of these things very easily if you're willing to put in the work. I think personally, people, number one, they hesitate because they know it's going to be a whole bunch of work and they don't know if they're going to get any results. So that freaks people out because no results are guaranteed. No matter what anyone on the internet tells you, there's no such thing as guaranteeing results unless you're trying to you're rigging it somehow.
Right.
Number two, you have to know people to do business. People do business with people. And so you can only rip people off for so long, whether that's someone selling their house or that's, teaching someone how to do something before people realize you're full of shit. And so let's talk about since you came in, how quickly has the landscape changed just even over the last 2 years, 4 years since we've known each other? I think 4 years. I mean, to 2014, which is 8 years ago. how quickly has it shifted into a micro community concept rather than these big, huge 500 to 1,000 person events? Like, I just don't know if that's going to convert anymore to people getting results and coming back.
Well, I agree. And when you talk about micro community, I mean, let's take it back to what you helped me with, right? You helped me with creating my short form content from the long form. And the fact that going back 4 or 5 years ago, I mean, it was the trend to go out and buy fake followers to essentially build credibility for your brand. That's not working anymore. You just said it. People do business with people. So why would you go out and pretend to have 100,000 followers? It's just not reality, okay? It's better to have 20,000 followers or 10,000 followers that are real people that are interacting with you, engaging with your content, and wanting to do business with you. And when you talk about these micro communities and how much that landscape has changed, I mean, dude, think about what's changed between you and I and what we've done with the content that you've produced for me. When we started, we were only able to post that on Instagram and TikTok. Now, Facebook has Reels, YouTube has Shorts. These things are blowing up, and what is happening is now I had a question today in my community, my Facebook group. I don't understand how to comp this property. I literally took a Facebook reel and posted it as the comment and said, watch this 37-second Facebook reel. It answers your question. We're now utilizing short form content to answer questions for people. That is the human to human interaction that you're talking about. That makes that person want to do business with me because of the content that we're putting out for these people.
Yeah, I think that like our whole company motto now, and it takes time to create your blueprint and everything, myself included, is, you know, we create content or content that creates conversations. Content that creates conversations. We want to produce and post that for people. Because if you're having conversations with people about what you do and why they need it and how it's going to serve them and what result they're going to get and how many conversions are associated with that, just like what we were doing and talking about with testing that video, I've got the ManyChat sequence. You guys can do this too. Go to manychat.com and sign up. If you don't have $15, then I think they have a 3-day trial. And if it's something to where you're actually posting content every single day, it's worth it for you because you can have people comment and then you send them a sequence or you send them a back-end product. I would suggest making it free. That's what I'm doing. And we've already gotten like 60 people that have converted into that free course. And the free course is literally a Facebook live stream that I did in one take, that we chopped up and turned into segments of how people can film viral videos in like make 30-second videos. Because I would rather do business with somebody that knows what I'm going to tell them to do consistently already that they've done for free for themselves than someone that just has no experience.
Pat, here's the thing. People now want to pay money for the implementation, not for the education. This is where things have changed. So it's funny you say that because we're doing the same thing. We're saying, you want to learn how to close deals? Cool. Here's how you do it for free. Now, would you like to pay me so now we can implement it and we can do it together? Let's actually go cash checks together. That's what people want now. They want the actual implementation. They don't necessarily need the education because the education exists for free.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. The education does exist for free. And that's where I think people are hung up right now too, is because they are trying to charge $7 or $15 or $27. And it's like, dude, you're losing the big sale by trying to charge people $20.
Yep.
It's skeet. If you really have something great that's high ticket, why not just give away the information and then the serious people will pay you way more to come to your workshop and implement or to sign up for your mastermind and implement or whatever. Like our mastermind is going to be the Iconic Messengers, which is part of the show. We want to give it to you for free on the show. And if you want to come to the workshop or the mastermind, great. But our mastermind comes with a 90-day accelerator where we literally help people get their social media started so they get something tangible that they can use forever for paying us money. We don't want people to just pay us money and then 6-7 months later they're looking around and they're like, I literally gave this guy my money and he didn't give me anything.
Pat, I got a question for you.
What do we got?
When we started and you came to me after the 2021 Closers Olympics and you're like, bro, I want to do your videos. I'm gonna blow this up for you. And I said, all right, let's do it. Did you foresee me saying, hello, this is RJ, going viral inside of less than 30 days? I mean, we were talking about over 1 million views on both Instagram and TikTok with simple 20-second videos of me saying, this is RJ, and then a seller rebuttaling back to me. Did you see that happening?
So I knew that it had the potential because it was the right place at the right time, especially with TikTok. TikTok was on the uptick. They were about to have this big hot streak and people weren't posting vertical video like that. And me being the 30-second guy, like my whole career was built on making 30-second jingles about bartenders and drunks and people dining out and freaking Betsy from San Jose. I mean, dude, that was my whole thing at the bars. And I did that 15 years every single night, making up little 30-second songs about people because every song in rock and roll is the same 5 chords. And I'm going to get back to why your thing worked. Most of the biggest songs in rock and roll are like the same 7 chords. It's like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. The reason why the alphabet and why musicians think they're so smart is because they're able to use a 7-letter alphabet to create songs that people sing forever. They don't even get 24 or 27 or however many friggin' letters in the alphabet. They get 7 or whatever that number is. A, B, C, D, right. E, F, G. And so your theme, you have to build out somebody's brand, like a viral brand within like a framework of how do we make it a hit? Like everybody knows the song Don't Stop Believin'. Some people love it, some people hate it, but even my wife knows that that's Journey. I could play her any AC/DC song and she wouldn't know it was AC/DC. I could play her Guns N' Roses and if I told her AC/DC was the last one, she'll guess AC/DC. That's fine. But the moral of the story is that's not how we communicate to her. If I play NSYNC, she knows it's NSYNC right away. So you have to think about how do I take this sound or this style and make it appeal to the masses, but still make it creative and good. And so the whole RJ thing in my head, when I first looked at your brand, I was like, how do I turn this guy into the Jerky Boys? Because back in the day when I was a kid, we used to buy CDs of the Jerky Boys and they would prank call people. Like one of the guys, he calls up the record store and he pretends to be a rapper and he's like, bam, yeah, I want y'all to take my rap album and put it on the shelves. My name's Loki Loke Leedy Low, yeah, bam. And the lady on the other side of the line is like, hello? He's like, yeah, you a record store, right? I want you to sell my record. And it's just like, what, dude? But they were so outrageous, just like your calls, because these real calls in the real world, when you're trying to do real business with real people, gets real crazy. In anything in life, people are crazy. And most people don't have a lot of money. And that's okay. Like even when you make a lot of money, you realize that you only get to keep so much anyway. So then even the people that make a lot of money really don't have that much money because you got to pay taxes. Or, I mean, you can go to jail like Wesley Snipes. So the moral of the story is when I was crafting that, yes, I thought it could get millions of hits. Yes, I thought that it could generate a buzz in the industry and position you as an expert all at the same time. But the first thing it had to be was funny. The first thing it had to have was that like shock factor of this is so outrageous that it can't be real. Yeah. But then people realize it is real. And this guy is really doing deals. And he's literally showing us what it's like inside the cockpit or inside the octagon of this like arena of closing deals. And no one else was doing that. And everybody copies you now. Everybody wants to do the live call streams and the freaking creator hub, freaking Facebook's whack. I got my Discord, and it's like they're posting that on Facebook. Just do the Facebook group, bro. And that's okay, but everybody copied our shit.
Yeah.
Our company saw that little hole that no one was doing. And like that, in my opinion, is why someone who's a real implementer and a real integrator that really does media on their own that's gone viral, if that's not the person building your brand, you're wasting your money.
Dude, you want to know what's hilarious about the content going out and then the reaction from the people that already knew me, right? The people that already, like, they were like, dude, you're blowing up. And then the feedback of like, oh, my feed is just constant. Hello, this is RJ. Hello, this is RJ. And I'm like, dude, we're averaging like 1.5 posts a day, okay? Your feed is not blown up with RJ's videos. It's just the fact of what you're saying. You're hearing the message every single day. We became Headstrong by Trapped, right? Everyone knows that song because it was on the radio on repeat for like 2 years.
And Israel Adesanya still comes out to that song.
I mean, it just everyone knows it, right? It's the same thing that you're talking about. They weren't even consuming the content. It was just that it was there and they saw it and it was so consistent. Dude, I think that's why you and I have hit it off so well with this partnership that we have, because the consistency that I naturally have, the consistency that your company has, shout out to you guys. I mean, 365 days a year. I mean, you guys are pumping out videos every single day for all of your clients. It's amazing. Never seen anything like it before. And the consistency with the posting, that has been, I know people talk about it. Yeah, I think that's what's really made a difference for me and my brand. People
lack consistency. They don't even realize how inconsistent they are. And I don't think that they realize how the inconsistency actually affects the outside world's view of them as an expert or them as an authority, because they're so inconsistent that people aren't taking them seriously. And so it's like you're doing real estate deals 1 week and then you take 2 weeks off. And now you're posting about this new other, I don't know. You got Amazon a new train. I mean, I don't know. And the other thing is people bounce around mentors. Like, pick a mentor. Either you're working with Brad Lee, or you're working with RJ on wholesaling, or you're working with, Dean Rogers on a flip in Pomona, California. I mean, I don't know, but dude, Mark Evans, Carl Allen, like, pick somebody. Kyle Mallion for acquisitions. Pick someone that's been doing this for a while, that's actually got results, and like talk to them about what you need to do to get deals done first. Because if you can get deals done first, you're actually more of a benefit to the mentor anyway, because you're bringing something to the table. This was my secret sauce. I didn't have any money, but I had talent to sing about someone and advertise their brand. So when I sang a song about Gary Vee, and he thought it was hilarious, I was singing at his book signing. Well, cool. Now that scored me 7 minutes to like have a conversation with him about how do I turn this into a real business. And that was next thing I got on Cardone's stage. And then the next thing I met Brad, and Brad was like, well, you got to pivot. So I did exactly what he said. You got to turn it into a real agency model.
Hold on, pause. No, you're not going to talk about Brad and not do the impersonation, okay?
Well, yeah, but we were getting there because like Brad finally meets RJ, who I've told Brad Lee about at like 25 closer schools that I've wrecked. Every single one of them. And he's like, finally like meets RJ in Dallas at this event, the All In event. And he's like, so why didn't you tell me about this guy, the king closer? And I'm like, dude, I told you 2 years in a row at your closer school event that you shouldn't even have the event unless the king closer, RJ Bates III, is in the building on the bill speaking. And he's like, seems a little suspicious.
What are you the king closer of?
The dude is great. But I think that just like I mentioned some people, like figure out why those people stand out. Like everybody's got their own little personality, Like Mark kind of lives his own life. He's got his family. Like Carl Allen's like the British guy. Like you got to figure out what your thing is. RJ's like the king closer. You know, Brad's like, he's like the Andrew Tate of entrepreneurship. You know, everybody's kind of got their little shtick. And I think that people who lack consistency don't ever zero in on what that shtick is.
Wholeheartedly.
And your shtick is you call people on the phone and you close real estate deals. And I mean, if you're not calling people on the phone, you're probably not closing real estate deals. I mean, most people who can't close deals or do close deals, but they want another vertical, they're launching call centers, or they're launching skip tracing software, or they do this, or they do that, or they do the other thing. All you've ever done is real estate deals.
Listen, if you're laying horizontal, you can't start another vertical. I mean, dude, this is you want to talk about something that pisses me off a decade into this. Well, it's not a decade. I mean, we're approaching our 14th year of being an entrepreneur. It's a decade in just real estate. Okay. Now, when Cassie and I were doing one thing and we decided to start another quote unquote vertical, we killed the other one. We didn't sit here and say we're going to be general contractors and wholesalers. We said we suck as general contractors. We don't want to do this with our lives anymore. It paid the bills. It fed the kids. Now it's time to go do something else. So the new vertical was what we went all in on. Okay? If you suck at one thing, don't go try to start another. That's why I always have this hedgehog right behind me. It's called having a hedgehog concept. What is it that you're great at? What did Brad tell you? Stop getting up with the fucking guitar and spinning around in circles. Go out and start editing media for other people and start that business. Look where you are now. You've blown up.
Yeah, it was good advice. And I think that's the thing with even building a brand. I don't think that I knew how to position myself as an authority. I knew how to get attention. I knew how to edit. I had some talent and some skill because I had practiced for so many years at like entertaining audiences, but I needed to be able to communicate that expertise to people. And I think that that's where the world has gone. I think we are in the communication age. And I think if people really want to set themselves apart and be, you know, like iconic in their category, like we call it, well, dude, you have to separate yourself from the robots because like AI is going to be able to do so much stuff. Well, how are you using AI skills to, you know, amplify your strengths? Because the leaders in the marketplace are going to be using the robots to feed them data that they can use to win. Because I just don't think that AI or robots are going to be able to do everything. And if they are going to be able to do everything, it's not going to be right away. There's a window right now, a 3 to 5 year window where we can position ourselves as the leaders in certain categories, but you got to do the work.
But Pat, you said you didn't know how to position yourself as a leader in the space.
Yeah, probably not.
But dude, I have to give you a shout out. You figured it out. The way that you did it was, going back to your point earlier, you picked the phone up and you called me and you said, I want to provide this service for you. And the best part about it is you didn't come to me and say, hey, RJ, I want to do this and I want to do it for free. You valued yourself. And you said, I'm going to charge you $3,000 to do this. And I said, send me the invoice, and we got started. That's an uncomfortable conversation for a lot of people probably listening to this podcast right now going, dude, I don't know if I could pick up the phone and call a friend and ask them to pay me $3,000 to do something that I haven't really proven, that I have like a proven track record yet. But that's how you have to get started. That's how me and Cassie got started as entrepreneurs. We went to family and friends and we said, can we replace your roof? Can we remodel your bathroom? Can we do this for you? And it worked. And then we had the track record, and then we were able to go to the strangers. The only thing that we had to do was execute. The same thing that you did for me. That's why I brought it up. Less than 30 days, we had videos going over 1 million in views. execution, baby.
Yeah, it's all about the execution. And I think that doing the deals with Gary Vee and Grant Cardone helped me with credibility, because it's like, I mean, if this guy can work with those people and perform on those stages and get those people to post stuff, what's going to happen when I start posting my own stuff? And that was the real trick here, was we had to turn the skill into a service. A lot of people have skills, but they don't know how to turn it into a service, because they're too busy using their skills to serve themselves, instead of using their skills to serve others.
God to honest truth, I could care less about the pictures of you with Gary Vee and Grant Cardone. You want to know that what gives me a chubby? You making Alex Ottawell go viral. Hey, how could you take that dude's face and make him go viral? For talking about a car or something.
Oh, man.
You took a tax lady and made her go viral. No one wants to talk about taxes. And she has like a video with like 3 million views.
Yeah, she kicked your ass, actually.
Yeah, I know.
Carlotta Thompson killed all of us.
I'm pissed. I'm like, what? You're talking about the worst topic ever.
She's got God's blessing from Arkansas on that one, man. I mean, I'll tell you what, she's just a holy little gal, and she got the blessing. I mean, again, right place at the right time. She saw an opening for this, and now they're sold out months in advance. Their thing launches, it's the 27th of December right now. Their thing launches at January 11th, whenever this episode comes out. It'll be sold out in like 60 days. They had to build a whole nother company because they were sold out so much last year. They had to build like another company to like take like a higher price people so they could actually like move them between the two so they could serve more people. So she jacked up, I think, the price on the one, because it's like, okay, well, if we really want to bring on everybody, we need to create a 2-tier system where we can kind of ease people into it.
Yeah, that's
it's just beautiful, dude. It's beautiful. Yeah. And now with the automation stuff, if you go and you set up the ManyChat, or if you use funnels, then you can send people to funnels. They can download free stuff. I think that the future micro communities that we're looking at here going into 2025 is you've got to be able to give people shit for free. You got to give it away to people. YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and all that, that's one way to give it away for free. But you have to have some kind of free wall where you get information to get people into a portal where there's free access and like a free vault. Because those are the people that you can market to and potentially set up calls with. And again, call them on the phone and talk to them personally and close deals. One of the big issues that we're seeing with people with sales teams is that if there's just not that personal connection where you see somebody on stage, you're trying to get a hold of them, you're going through all these salespeople, they want you to buy this or buy that or buy the other thing because all they care about is a commission. They're not really worried about your result. And so I think, and I love Chris Rude for this, lean and mean, baby, lean and mean. He's like, listen, Pat, I know you since he was the sponsor at the 10X event, Grant Cardone's 10X2. He's the first guy I met in the hallway. And he was like, you always had something, man. You got that passion. But let me tell you, keep it lean and mean, man. Keep that net profit high. Don't be afraid to work in your business. Don't be listening to these gurus telling you not to work in your business. You need to be putting in the work. That's where the money is. People want the one-on-one. Dude, he's right. He's got one of the coolest little masterminds in the space. And he charges $5,000 for people to come to a private house in Destin, and there's like 50 or 60 people there max. He maxes it out. So you guys got to make a decision on what kind of clientele you want to attract to. I don't mind helping people for free, but some of those people aren't my clientele, but at least I know that I can serve everybody now. If I create something for everyone, then I can, like you discussed earlier, be the people's champion. You can't be the people's champion trying to get 19 bucks out of everybody. People are going to think you're a scam. Either sell the book for $20, but don't say it's free and then charge people shipping. I hate that offer. And I'm like a big ClickFunnels advocate. I love Russell and stuff. I have always hated that offer. It's scammy. Is it free or is it $8? I got the free course and the free ebook I'm giving away. And then I have a book coming out next year. And the book is $20. Don't buy it if you don't have $20. But we spent money, wrote the story, put the lessons in there. You're in there. It talks about your stuff, talks about Carlotta. And it's like, if you want that, we had to spend money to produce a physical product. You got to pay for the product. If you want to download the thing for free. But I think that people need to be very clear. This is what I offer. This is what it costs. And this is why you should do business with me. It's the same thing you do on phone calls. I'm RJ Bates. I examine your property. You know, it looks like the one down the street sold for 180. Max I can give you is 160 today. Oh, well, that seems a little low. Well, listen, we're an investment company. We got to make money, but we're not here to screw people. So if that deal doesn't work for you, maybe you're not my person today, but I want you to have a great day. Dude, that's good business. That's why your shit works. And people watch it because it's like, oh, this guy's pretty cool. He didn't get the deal that time.
You know what my new thing is, Pat?
What's that?
The whole real estate community was like, RJ, you're not that great of a closer. You don't even do anything. You're an order taker. You're just giving the seller what they want. So my new thing is I've embraced that, Pat. You're right. I'm not that great of a closer. Anyone can do what RJ does. You just got to come listen to RJ so he can teach you how to do what he does. That's it. I'm embracing it, Pat. I'm not that great. Everyone in the world can close just like RJ Bates. I appreciate all of my competition beating it into my brain for the past 3 years, telling me how great or how bad of a closer I really am. So now I can say, you're right, I'm not that great. I just close more deals than you, and anyone can do what I can do, including you. Maybe you need to come take my training as well. So
right, and even if you don't take the training, like go use it and go be successful, and don't worry about like all these clout moves. I was at a couple events this year where people were backstage and, you know, they like to take pictures of their watches and their chains and their sunglasses and their shoes. And it's like, I mean, I got a little pair of Louis V shoes and a Louis V belt. I get it. I got to play the game a little bit. If I want to be the guru MC, I'm down with that. I'll write it off. It's my uniform. But at the end of the day, like, none of that shit has anything to do with my character, my integrity, or like who I am as a person. It's a fucking pair of shoes. And Carlos bought me the belt. I would never pay money for a Louis V belt. I only wear it because Carlos bought it for me on record. And I like my iPhone watch because I can text people. Like my wife just texted me. I left the lid off the trash cans. And so like the trash like blew down the street. She's like yelling at me on text. I mean, listen, I got to respond to the wifey. You know, I made a mistake today, people. Should have closed it a little more. I can't do that with a Rolex. A Rolex is not closing deals for Patty Pat. You know?
No.
Your performance should be closing you deals, not your watch. And
Dude,
so, some people don't even have any business. You guys can't even pay your social media company, but you got a fancy watch. It's cute.
Damn, bro. I'm not even going to touch that one, Pat.
Damn.
I'm not even going to touch that one.
Throwing haymakers like Tyson Fury today.
That was the haymaker up there. I mean, you were like 1 second short of name dropping someone.
You know, we're not going to do any name dropping on here, but I think that that people that are out there like preaching success and wealth or anything like that, like building wealth takes a lot of time. And the reason why I brought this up too is Kevin O'Leary was just posted. I follow Kevin O'Leary. I like his shit, Mr. Wonderful. And he's posting that he's getting his first whatever watch. Like I've wanted this watch forever. That guy owns like 200 companies. Yeah. And he waited until he's not young and went and finally bought the watch. I think people celebrate too soon. They buy their own hype. They believe their own bullshit, and they think that they're bigger than they are. And so they need to convince themselves that they're successful by accessorizing instead of performing at a higher level every day.
I literally went on a rant yesterday. I'm so
Rant some more.
I'm so glad you brought this up, Pat. You got me all fired up about it again. So my rant yesterday was, I'm telling the people that are watching me, there's like 150 people on the live stream. And what we're talking about is our process in which we buy houses virtually, right? So we talk to the seller. We ask them some questions about the house. We ask them how much they want for the house. And if it's a good deal for us and it fits in the buy box, then we send them a contract. We come out and we do a walkthrough. And if the house is what they said it was, then we close. If it's not, we renegotiate or we terminate. And some people have ridiculed this and said, you shouldn't do that. You should ask all these questions. You should have a 13-page script. You need to find out everything. You need to get a DNA sample from them. You need to know their birth certificate. You need to know all this bullshit, okay? So my rant yesterday was Open Door bought 34,962 houses in 2022. Guess what their process is? My process, because I stole it from them, because they're smart. They're the Mr. Wonderful. If you want to go listen to the dude with 20,000 subscribers on YouTube who does maybe 20 deals a year, but says he does 200, I'm going to listen to Open Door and say, this is what they do. Let's follow that. Talking about credibility. A Rolex is not credibility. Buying 35,000 houses in a year is credibility. That's all I'm saying.
Right. And then once you've done that, then you can go buy your Rolex. I think that you got to think about it from a certain perspective. I mean, I get that there's an image associated with what people perceive success to be. But I also think that, you know, while there's this old quote, I think it's perception is reality, only if you allow it to be. So you have to be able to look at things from multiple angles, because your initial perception could, you know, get you into some trouble. And so you really got to be able to analyze things from multiple angles. And dude, people are getting slimier than ever, because I think it's getting harder and harder and harder to build something great in an honest way. It's just like we talked about earlier. You can make a lot of money, but then, you know, you got to pay a lot of X, Y, and Z. There's costs associated with everything. Everything is more expensive now. And I think that the more people have conversations about the real life work that needs to be done to create a result, the easier it's going to be for people to realize that, A, like you said, they're capable of doing certain things that they perceive someone else as only being capable of doing. And B, priorities are going to change. Once certain people start to get results that never thought that was possible before, and they learn the mistakes that people made, or the bad investments, or the BS that they've spent money on was just a waste, they're going to make better decisions than some people by the time they're my age. So I think we have this obligation as people, you know, I turned 41 in February. So like I've got an obligation now over the next 10 years to get really good at communicating to people why they should be putting themselves out there and getting deals done and documenting it. Because the reason why your content initially worked is because you had already documented yourself doing the reps, doing the workouts, doing the work, doing the calls, whatever this is for you people out there. If you run a landscape company, you should be filming every job you do and doing it extremely well so that you can show a before and after picture of where you were 4 years ago, like RJ, to now going into 2024, and he's got freaking title belts behind him. Those didn't exist 3 years ago.
Have you seen the guy on TikTok that has like 3 million followers? And he runs a landscaping business, and he goes viral all the time because he walks up to the worst house in the neighborhood, knocks on the door, and says, "Can I mow your yard for free?" And they're like, "Yes." And then he just videos himself mowing the yard.
Wow.
And he's got 3 million followers on TikTok, bro.
I'm not surprised.
He's documenting what he's doing. He's being helpful.
That's the key. To close it out here, the key to you guys out there building a brand and becoming an expert in 2024 is, one, pick a category that you want to be the best at, and then pick the subcategory that you want to be number one at. So if you want to be really good at something, I want to be good at media in 2024. Like I've already done all these big stages and all these big events and an MC and a live entertainer. I want to become the media expert. But the subcategory of that is helping people communicate on camera. So for RJ, it's I want to be a real estate expert. The subcategory of that is becoming a king or queen closer in your category. And then 3 is do the work every day and document it. and post it on social media. This goes for anything that you want to do now with building a brand in 2024 is that. Pick a category, become the expert in the subcategory, do the work, document the work, and post it on social media. That's the gameplay for everybody out there.
There you go.
That's it.
That's it.
It's the game.
Be consistent with it and don't give up because it doesn't work.
Yeah, well, it might not work at first, but neither do workouts. They take like 90 days to see any results. Trust me, I know. I hate doing them every day. Ladies and gentlemen, the king closer, R.J. Bates III, coming in with a first-round knockout in the first episode ever of Iconic Messengers. All that we ask is that you got value from this, obviously. So please share with a friend. Please share with your mom, your grandma, your aunt, your uncle, and anyone out there that is dreaming about success or becoming an icon in their category. Make sure to follow R.J. Bates III on the internet, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere the cool people hang out with their phones. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you on the next one.
So, Pat, I know this is your first ever podcast. So I've been doing it for like 6 years. So let me see how to sign off real quick, okay? If you got value from today's episode, make sure you leave us a 5-star review. If you really don't like me or Pat, that's okay. We only accept 5-star reviews over here at Iconic Messengers. So take your 3-star review. Go to Real Estate Disruptors. That's Steve Train. He loves 3-star reviews. Leave it over there. Tell them RJ and Pat sent you. We only accept 5-star reviews over here. We'll see you next week.